Part of the one premise I have tonight is that aversive control, A, it's natural, and B, it's ubiquitous. It's everywhere. As an example of a natural aversive contingency, I'd say about a month ago, like middle of the night, and I hear this kind of like bumping noise. I'm like, I kind of get up from bed, and my wife says, "Are you awake?" And I said, "Yeah." And she's like, "Can you turn a light on?" And she's like in the corner of the, she's kind of like doing that. If any of you watched Animal House, where the band is like they're running into the brick wall, the dead end alley, she didn't have a light on. It was pitch dark, to her credit, no moonlight, and she couldn't find the bathroom. All right, so she's like running into the corner, she's like trying this wall, and start turning a light on. So kind of a mild, natural, punishing contingency. Now what she does is she grabs her phone, turn your phone on, right? It gives you a little bit of light. So one quick example of that. Another one, my daughter played soccer for many years for a pretty good club here in South Jersey, and I was just over talking to her coach a couple days ago. My daughter's in college, hasn't played for a while, but they'd been playing really well. They played this game, beat a team 3-0. Normally the coach would talk to the team for 10-15 minutes after the game, and you could tell it was a really quick conversation. And all the girls get up and they start running laps around the field, all right? And I was like, he's not happy, all right? I can already tell. And a couple of the girls from the other team were coming off the field and they were laughing. They said, "Look at those girls, they have to run laps even though they won." And the dad of one of the girls said something like, "Shut up." He's like, "Maybe that's why they beat you 3-0. He's like, "Now get off the field," all right? And I saw the coach come over, our coach come, he walked past me and he said, "Not good enough, mate." He's from Australia. And I said, "Got it," all right? So the girls weren't real happy, but what he was trying to take them to is the next level, right? He wanted to show them that his motto was empty the tank. And he said, "None of you emptied the tank today." And they were an enormously successful team, right? He used a ton of reinforcement. He was not primarily a punishing type guy, but he would use punishment when he felt he needed to, and one punishment would be running laps. So now, to actually kind of get into the main theme here, the myth that I want to talk about, at least one of them, is one of the things that Perone points out is that we often think of reinforcement, all right, as being good, right? I want to reinforce my own child, want to reinforce my spouse's behavior, and so on and so forth. We also think of punishment as bad. That's not always the case, right? And one of the things that I really like about the Perone article is that he cites people like B.F. Skinner, Jack Michael, even talks about Murray Sidman's book, Coercion and Its Fallout, and those types of things, but points out numerous examples of how maybe short-term reinforcement is good, but long-term it can be bad. It can have delayed aversive consequences. The second myth is that we should eliminate or ought to be able to avoid all sorts of aversive control. The comment there is that that's not true, because with every positive contingency you can describe it in negative terms. And again, think of an example where, maybe a parent says, "If you do a good job in school, we're going to Disneyland," all right? Sounds like a reinforcer, all right? But now if the child doesn't do a good job and the parent withdraws that trip to Disneyland, you were setting something up as a reinforcer, now you're using it as a punisher, all right? I've seen people use token economies. And a couple different ways to use token economies. One is you just keep adding tokens and they're behaving appropriately, but you don't do anything if they misbehave, right? If they hit you or they engage in self-injury. Other places I've seen, they're like, "We got to start over, right? Pulling your tokens down," and they pull the tokens down. And when I talk to the supervisor, even that person, I say, "Do you use any punishment here?" "Absolutely not," all right? Like, looks like response costs to me, right? Kid did some bad behavior, now you're removing reinforcers. So even something as pervasive as that, and in many ways pretty innocent, does have a punishment component to it.